Howdy, my name is Ryan McTiernan, and this is a video that I wanted to just make kind of quickly and off the cuff. I'm trying to get a little bit more involved in my music side of my life. I am based in Ireland and have a real passion for country and western and Americana style music with maybe a little bit of my own Irish influence and different things that I've listened to and enjoyed over the years. So this video, I said I would just make a really quick one about something I'm also really into, is guitars. And this particular guitar is one that I picked up at the very start of this year in 2026. My microphone is in the way. It's a Fender, controversial this year unfortunately, but this is a made in Japan Fender in a, if I'm not mistaken, it's a Dakota red. It's not a candy apple red, it's like a flat red color, as opposed to like the sparkle that you get with those candy apple reds, and they're a little bit of a kind of a brighter shine. It's not Dakota red, it's Torino red. That's what it was. Yeah, I picked it up at the start of the year. I've got a player Telecaster, which is kind of at the back there, which I've learned many a thing about guitars on, both playing and modifying and fixing and repairing and breaking and all that good stuff. And the Telecaster is my main gigging guitar. That's a little baby squealing in the background. That's okay. It's live. It's not really live, but it's all raw and none of this fancy schmancy stuff. We're living in the bedroom and seeing what happens. But yeah, it was a guitar I picked up at the start of the year because I basically just needed a gigging, working Telecaster. I play in a couple of bands and it's kind of key to that sound. My player Telecaster is really good, but at the time it needed a bit of work, and I've only really done that recently. I just kind of wanted another guitar, to be honest, but one that I could really kind of get and just feel like I could make it mine. That guitar came with me, the player Telecaster, and definitely I feel like it's my guitar and I'd never get rid of it for various reasons, but I wanted one that I could really just kind of go, hey, this is my guitar, my Telecaster. And yeah, I picked it up and I've done a little bit of changes to it. So it's like a 60s style Telecaster, custom Telecaster, should I say. So it's got double bound body, a 7¼ inch, so vintage Fender style radius. The frets, I guess, are kind of like those narrow, tallish kind of frets. I really like them. It's kind of one you get used to, and then I feel it's really jarring when you play even like a medium jumbo or a jumbo type fret on a Gibson or an Epiphone or that style of guitar. It's when you get used to these, I feel like it's hard to move away from them. The couple of changes that I did make to it, I had a kind of a brass saddle style, so you'd get that in the 50s, the early 50s, that I had on my player Telecaster that I'd also bought and fitted to that. And this had the 60s threaded steel kind of saddles, and I just didn't really do for me. I'm not sure that there's all these different conversations about different parts and woods and all this kind of stuff. As far as I'm aware, this is like a basswood body, I think. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. A lot of the made in Japan ones are. But between the steel saddles and the pickups that are originally in this, so these are also different pickups that were in the player Telecaster. Again, I've done a lot of work on it. These are 51 Broadcaster custom shop pickups from Fender. I think it's Broadcaster, could be the Nocaster. It might be 51 Nocaster, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it's the 51 Nocaster or Broadcasters. But they're the custom shops, and to be honest, these are like, I'm yet to play another Tele that, or at least a Tele pickup that to me sounds as amazing as these do in both positions. The 60s ones that were in this, the bridge one was good. It was a very like really aggressive and sharp and kind of trebly, kind of the stereotypical Telecaster pickup, and maybe veering into the bad stereotype of too harsh and a little bit too aggressive. Not too aggressive, just too spiky as the terms go. So I wanted to kind of change that, but the bigger one was actually the neck pickup. The neck pickup in this that was stock was very low output, and I only really noticed it when I was gigging, and I changed positions in a song, and like my volume just completely dropped. And the pickup, it was all set in the right way, it was at the right height and everything. Just, it was a really dark sounding pickup as well, which I did kind of notice before, but kind of was like, oh, you know, I'll EQ or I set my amp up, it's different in different rooms, you know, adjust your pedals if you need to, but the drop in volume combined with that was just like a complete no-no. So I changed those to those 51. I'm going to go to Nocaster. They're 51 Nocaster pickups, I'm pretty sure, because the Broadcaster was first, they got rid of it. History lesson, not quite Ask Zach, but nearly. So yeah, basically pickups went in, and this bridge plate with the brass saddles, which I do feel have that more more rounded tone, as they say. So there's a little bit more mid and kind of low end that comes through. The highs aren't as high, and I think it's as much with the pickups as well. But I just also love the visual of it, these brass saddles, and they're kind of worn in and funky, and you know, there's a lot of gunk in there from my many gigs that I've played. So again, it was just another step in making this guitar mine. I had like a Jason Isbell one before, and really, it was amazing. It's a really great guitar, to be fair. And the benefit it has over, say, this is the kind of like the nitro body, like, and the pickups were good in that. The neck one and that was a bit too Strat-like, which I think it is, twisted telly, which is what they're designed to be like. But I just loved this. I could never get away from these pickups, and I never put it in the Isbell. And yeah, I moved it on because I kind of was like, oh, I just wanted a different guitar at the time, but then I came back to this Telecaster, and I just wanted one that was my own, and I was like, maybe this will be mine. So yeah, that's the story on this little telly. It's a 2017, I think 2019, as far as I'm aware. So it's not exactly an old MIJ like from the 80s or something, but it's Fender Japan, really high quality. It plays great. I've set it up. I do my own work and setups and stuff like that. And yeah, I just love it. I think the big thing for me, I used to be kind of ardent against the rosewood Telecasters. I just always loved, and maybe still kind of do, the visuals of the maple tellies and the kind of 50s style, particularly those, you know, particularly the late 50s, the white kind of blonde, you know, with the maple fretboards as well. I think that was like 57. But yeah, I was kind of ardent against them, and then I had the Isbell. And just ended up really liking it. There definitely is, I think, with the maple and the fact that it's finished, there is more of a like spank, as they say. I'm hitting all the terms here, trying to blend in with YouTube as best I can, but it did have that more of a spanking kind of sound, more treble, probably more like upper mids and stuff like that, where you really felt that kind of pop. Whereas there is a darker, more mellow tone, I think, even with these pickups that are in it, which were in my old in the player Telecaster with that maple fretboard, they definitely don't have the exact same characteristic. And again, it could be the combination of the guitar body and this, but it's the same bridge and stuff, so I don't know. I don't like getting sucked into that tone wood stuff, but when it comes to the rosewood and the maple fretboards, that's definitely something I can be like, yeah, there's definitely like a difference. So that is really it on this Telecaster. It can do everything you want it to do. It can do the rock and roll thing if you kind of dial in your bit of gain and kind of, you know, roll back your tone, you know, like I think on the Telecasters I'm always trying to, it's particularly my tone, I don't really do much on the volume, I can sometimes, but it can really get raunchy if you want it, but for me, you know, it cleans up really nice too. I love the kind of spaghetti western, as I said, sound, but also some more interesting kind of jazzy, Bill Frisell, you know, Julian Lage, these kind of guys that can just talk on the guitar and they have such expression. And as much as I love the kind of raunch of a humbucker or something, I still struggle to not have the option of the real clarity that you get with these kind of single coils. And why I tend to go back to these tellies all the time. I have a Jazzmaster in the cupboard there, in the wardrobe, that needs to be put back together. Another Japanese Fender that just needed so much work, particularly on the frets. They were just completely flattened out and worn in, and you could play the guitar, but it was really, if you've made any kind of slide, you know, your finger would get caught in the frets because they were so flattened, and it's such a harsh edge, so you'd almost kind of have to fight it. The wiring as well was messed up, so that's coming back out. But yeah, that's this red Telecaster. Torino red, not Dakota red. And this is maybe I'll talk about my board and all that stuff next, all that good stuff. If you're wondering, I am going through I've got a few pedals on the floor, but like my main amp is a Boss Next Tone, which is a solid state, like 80 watt. It's the Next Tone Artist. So it's a really powerful amp. I've gigged it pretty much exclusively in the last like 3-4 years, and it sounds fantastic. I think it's kind of the best solid state amp for me personally. Much better than a Katana. Not as many effects, but I think in terms of a sound and an overall tune, it to me blows it out of the water. To be honest, it's a far more warm, rounded sounding amp, and there's enough versatility that you can make it be what you want it to be, but it retains its own. There's not much option paralysis, shall we say. So I'm going from that out of the line out into a little interface that's running into the camera as well as this microphone. So hence the headphones, because I live in my house and we have a baby and there's neighbours, and I can't unfortunately turn up the amp. I gotta play through the headphones. So yeah, that's all for now. I'm zooming in and out of shot quite a bit. We'll get the hang of it.